Ever wish you could just snap your fingers and suddenly feel confident speaking English? Like no matter what, ordering food or making small talk, you could just do it without even thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Well, today on podcast Listen and Learn English, brought to you by Channel Name. We're diving deep into practical tips and phrases to boost your everyday English confidence.
Sounds good.
I'm George, and joining me is language expert Diana.
Hey, everybody. It's going to be a fun, deep dive.
Diana, as we were getting ready for this, something that really struck me was how much the source talked about the why of confidence. Like, it's not just about speaking perfectly, is it?
Absolutely not.
Right.
It's about connection.
Yeah.
It's about feeling at ease and, fluency. That kind of just comes naturally when you're not overthinking everything.
Right, exactly. And speaking of feeling at ease, the source jumps right into some really common situations that can make people nervous.
Oh, for sure.
Like meeting someone new. I mean, those first few moments can be, I don't know.
Yeah, they can be a little tricky.
Kind of awkward.
Yeah.
What do you think?
But, the source highlights some really, power phrases like, hi, I'm your name, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Or, what brings you here? Really solid starting points, I think.
Yeah, simple but effective. And I think what's cool is that, the source doesn't just kind of throw phrases at you.
Right.
It kind of gives you some context.
Mm.
Like, how do you know host mutual friend
Mm-hmm.
is perfect, if you're at some kind of party.
Yeah. It's all about reading the room and choosing the right phrase.
Yeah.
And, don't forget about the nonverbals. Like, a smile and eye contact can make all the difference.
Absolutely. A smile is a universal language. Okay, here's one we can all relate to. Ordering food. What happens when you open up that menu and it's like a foreign language all over again?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Been there.
So what do?
Well, the source suggests mastering a few key phrases.
Okay.
Like, can I see the menu, please?
Mm.
Or I'd like to order. But here's a tip for you. What if you're not sure how to pronounce something?
Ooh, good question. I'd probably just point and mumble.
Oh, no need for that.
Okay.
The source says just politely ask the server for help.
Okay.
You could say something like, could you tell me how to pronounce this? They're usually happy to help.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No need to, let a little pronunciation fear
Yeah.
keep you from a delicious meal. Now, imagine this. You're in a new city. You are totally lost. You need to ask for directions.
Ah, yes. That familiar feeling of being directionally challenged.
Right. What do you do?
But don't worry, the source has your back.
Okay, good. So what's the magic phrase? Is it just like help?
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
They suggest things like, excuse me, can you tell me how to get to place?
Okay.
Or is this the right way to destination?
Okay.
But here's the real gem.
Okay, tell me.
Repeat the directions back to the person to make sure that you understand.
Okay, I see where they're going with that.
Yeah.
It's not just about hearing the directions. It's about, actively processing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip for anybody, even if English is your first language.
Right.
By the way, listeners, we put so much effort into creating these deep dives for you on podcast Listen and Learn English right here at Channel Name.
We do.
Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And also let us know in the comments what situations you find tricky in English.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Your feedback helps us make each episode even better. Now, back to our deep dive.
Shopping.
Yes,
It can be a fun experience, but also kind of a linguistic minefield sometimes.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, from sizes and colors to prices and payment methods.
Yeah.
There's a whole vocabulary to navigate.
Yeah. And the source has some pretty handy phrases for that.
Huh.
Things like, do you have this in a different size or color?
Yeah.
Or, how much does this cost? Simple but essential, right? Absolutely. And, when it comes to paying, can I pay by card?
Yeah.
Is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I remember, when I first started learning English, I used to get so flustered at the checkout.
What is it?
But the source also had a brilliant tip for getting more comfortable with those money-related conversations.
Oh, do tell.
They recommend practicing numbers and prices out loud.
Okay.
Might feel a bit silly at first,
Yeah.
but it really helps you feel confident when it's time to pay.
Yeah. It's like a dress rehearsal for the real deal.
Yeah.
And speaking of practice, let's talk about something that can be either delightful or dreadful. Small talk.
Oh.
The dreaded small talk.
How can we make it less awkward, especially in a new language?
Well, the source highlights the power of good conversation starters. Things like, how's your day going?
Uh-huh.
Or what do you usually do on the weekends? These open-ended questions really invite people to share,
Right.
which often leads to like more natural and engaging conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about taking the pressure off of yourself and letting the other person do the talking.
Yeah. Right. And the source also reminded us that active listening is crucial.
Oh, yes, very much so. Pay attention, respond genuinely, and you'll be surprised how those like small talk moments can turn into meaningful connections.
That's so true. And speaking of meaningful, don't forget to hit that share button and tell your friends about Podcast Listen and Learn English.
Yes.
We appreciate your support. Okay, let's tackle one more common yet often nerve-wracking situation.
Yeah.
Phone calls.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Yeah.
You got no facial expressions, no body language to help you out.
No.
It's all about the voice.
Exactly, yeah. The source emphasizes the importance of having like key phrases ready.
Yeah.
Things like, hello, this is your name. May I speak to name?
Yeah.
Or could you repeat that, please?
Right. So it's about sounding clear and confident even when you can't see the other person. And the source also suggests jotting down some notes before the call, especially if it's an important one. Yeah, that's a great tip, especially if you're, worried about forgetting key points. It's like having a safety net.
Right. It's all about being prepared. Now, while the source provided a bunch of helpful phrases, it also went beyond just like memorization.
Yeah.
What were some of those deeper insights about building confidence overall?
Well, one of the most powerful takeaways was the emphasis on practice.
Okay.
The more you use English in real-life situations, the more comfortable you'll become.
That makes sense. It's like any skill. The more you do it, the better you get.
Exactly, yeah. The source even suggested some fun ways to get that practice. Things like role-playing with a friend or using language exchange apps.
Uh-huh.
Or even just striking up conversations with English speakers you encounter in your daily life.
Oh, I love that. Just turning those everyday interactions into opportunities to practice.
Yeah.
Now, I know that feeling of being overwhelmed by the vastness of the English language.
Oh, for sure.
Where do you even begin? What did the source suggest?
Well, it offered some really encouraging advice. Focus on the essentials. Start by identifying the situations that you encounter most often,
Right.
like ordering food, asking for directions, and master a few key phrases for each.
So it's about prioritizing those phrases that will have the biggest impact on your daily life.
Exactly. And you don't have to learn everything at once.
Right.
Start small,
Yeah.
build on your successes,
Yeah.
and celebrate those little victories along the way.
I love that philosophy.
Yeah.
It's all about those baby steps and gradually expanding your comfort zone.
Exactly. And remember, mistakes are part of the process.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be afraid to stumble or to ask for clarification.
Right.
Every interaction is a learning opportunity.
So true. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Speaking of progress, what about those of us who are like visual learners? Any tips for making those phrases stick?
Well, the source had a great suggestion for that. Using flashcard apps like Enki,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
they use something called spaced repetition, which basically means you review phrases at, specific intervals
Okay.
to help them really sink in.
Ah, so it's like giving your brain a little workout
Exactly.
with those key phrases.
Yeah,
It's amazing how technology can make learning so much more efficient these days.
it really is.
But Diana, what about the elephant in the room? The fear of actually using English
Oh, yeah.
in real-life conversations. What did the source have to say about overcoming that hurdle?
I think that was one of the most valuable parts of the source. It just
100%.
reminded us that confidence, it's not something you just magically acquire overnight.
Right.
It's built through, consistent effort. And sometimes that means pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So how do we do that? Like, how do we take that first step
Right.
without being, like, terrified?
The source had a simple yet powerful message. Start small.
Okay.
Begin with those everyday interactions, like greeting a neighbor or, asking a shopkeeper for help or ordering a coffee.
Yeah. I love that. Those seemingly, like, small interactions can actually be huge confidence boosters.
They really can. They're like building blocks.
Yeah.
Helping you gain fluency and comfort, gradually. And as you gain more experience, you can, gradually challenge yourself with more complex conversations.
Yeah. It's like a staircase.
Yeah.
You start on the first step and you work your way up.
Exactly.
And speaking of stairs, it's time to step up our game and subscribe to Podcast Listen and Learn English, brought to you by Channel Name.
Yes.
And while you're at it, tell us in the comments what small steps you're taking to build your English confidence.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
We love hearing your stories. Now, Diana, let's talk about another powerful way to build confidence,
Okay.
becoming an active listener.
Yes.
The source highlighted this as a key strategy, and it's something I'm a huge advocate for as well.
Me too.
I'm all ears.
Tell me more. It's about immersing yourself in the language as much as possible. Watch movies and TV shows, listen to podcasts. Pay attention not just to what people are saying, but how they're saying it.
Right. It's like absorbing those natural rhythms, the
Exactly.
nuances of the language,
Mm-hmm.
not just the textbook version.
Exactly. Notice the tone of voice,
Mm.
the pacing, even those little filler words that people use.
Right.
It all contributes to sounding more natural and confident.
It's like becoming a language detective.
Yes.
Now, I know from personal experience that learning a new language can be, a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Ups and downs.
What did the source suggest for staying motivated
Yeah.
and positive even when those inevitable bumps in the road appear?
This was such a crucial point, George.
Yeah,
The source reminded us that everyone makes mistakes.
of course.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Instead of, getting discouraged, try to view each interaction as a learning opportunity.
Yeah, I love that, like that mindset shift.
Yeah.
It's about embracing those oops moments as stepping stones to fluency.
Exactly. And remember to celebrate your progress no matter how small.
Right.
Did you finally master that tricky pronunciation?
Uh-huh.
Did you have a conversation where you felt more at ease than usual? Those are wins worth celebrating.
Absolutely. Those
Yeah.
small victories can really, fuel your motivation and keep you moving forward.
Definitely.
And speaking of moving forward, we'd love for you to join our community on Channel Name by hitting that subscribe button.
Yes.
We're constantly creating new content to help you on your English learning journey.
We are.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Now, Diana, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important takeaway is that building confidence in everyday English, it's a journey, not a destination.
Oh, I like that.
It's about consistent effort, a willingness to learn from mistakes, and a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
There are so many resources and communities out there to support you, including our channel.
Beautifully said, Diana. And on that note, we're going to take a quick pause to recharge our confidence batteries. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll dive into some specific vocabulary that can help you feel even more prepared to handle those everyday situations with ease. Welcome back to Podcast Listen and Learn English, brought to you by Channel Name. We're wrapping up our deep dive into confident everyday English with a look at some, powerful vocabulary that can help you in those specific situations. Diane, before we took a break, we were talking about focusing on the essentials.
Yeah.
What did the source highlight in terms of must-know words and phrases?
Well, it actually provided a really handy list
Okay.
grouped by, common scenarios.
Okay.
For example, for greetings and introductions.
Yeah.
It emphasized, words like hello, hi, good
Yeah.
morning, nice to meet you,
Of course.
and how are you? Those basic building blocks of any conversation.
It's funny how those simple words can be the trickiest sometimes when you're first learning a language.
Oh, yeah.
But once you have them down, it's like a key. It just unlocks so many doors.
Right.
What about that delicious world of ordering food?
Oh, yeah.
Any words that can help us navigate the menu with confidence?
Definitely. So the source mentioned, menu, order, bill, or check. Delicious,
Right.
recommend, and special.
Gotcha.
With those words in your vocabulary, you'll not only order smoothly, but you might even impress your server.
I love that.
Oh.
And imagine you're out shopping, whether it's for clothes, souvenirs, anything that catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
What words can help us make those purchases without any hiccups?
Well, according to the source, price, size,
Uh-huh.
discount, receipt,
Yeah.
cash, and card are essential. Knowing those words can really streamline that shopping experience.
It's so true. And
Yeah.
it's not just about, buying things. It's about feeling comfortable and confident in that environment.
Yeah, exactly.
What about for those of us who love to travel? Any words or phrases that can help us explore a new city without getting lost in translation?
Absolutely. So the source highlighted left, right, straight, near, far, and opposite as being essential for understanding and giving directions.
Yeah.
Those are the words that can literally guide your way.
Right. It's like having your own personal GPS built into your vocabulary. And we talked about the art of small talk earlier.
Yes.
What words can help us like spark those casual conversations that can sometimes lead to, amazing connections.
Oh, totally. Well, the source suggested words like, weekend
Like
or
yelling.
weather,
Yes.
favorite, hobbies,
Right.
work, and movies. These are all topics that most people can relate to, no
Yep.
matter where they're from or what they do.
I love it. And it's amazing how those, even like simple questions, what did you do this weekend? Or have you seen any good movies lately? Can just lead to such interesting conversations. Now, Diana, as we wrap up this deep dive, what stood out to you from the source as the biggest takeaway?
George, what resonated with me most was the source's message of encouragement.
Okay.
It just reminded us that handling everyday situations in English doesn't have to be intimidating.
Yeah.
With, consistent practice, a focus on essential vocabulary, and a positive attitude, anyone can build the confidence to communicate effectively.
That's such a powerful message. And it's something we truly believe in here at Podcast Listen and Learn English, brought to you by Channel Name. Learning a language is a journey,
It is.
and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Absolutely. And remember, we're all in this together. We learn from each other, we support each other, and we celebrate each other's successes.
Well said, Diana. So, listeners, if you enjoyed this deep dive into confident everyday English, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more practical tips and inspiration. And as always, we love hearing from you. Tell us in the comments, what situations you find most challenging in English, and maybe we'll feature them in a future episode.
Yeah, we're always looking for new ideas, so share your thoughts.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep those conversations flowing.